Hi guys, today I'm back in Hope, British Columbia to check out the 40th anniversary celebration of Rambo First Blood. Yes, it's been 40 years since John Rambo first visited and then completely decimated this sleepy little town. Now this is a bit of a throwback for me because one of the first videos that I did on the channel was actually a walking tour of First Blood filming locations. So when I heard that they were having an anniversary celebration, I had to come check it out. This afternoon we're going to join a walking tour of filming locations. We're going to go to the kickoff party this evening, and there's tons of other celebrations, so let's go explore. Hope has always been a town that's very proud of its Rambo heritage, as evidenced by the Rambo photo station out front of the Visitors Center and the life-size chainsaw carving of John Rambo that sits right outside of City Hall. The whole town is stocked with all kinds of Rambo merchandise, ready for the crowds to arrive. First Blood 40th anniversary, October 7th, 8th, and 9th, 2022. Ironwork Rambo knives, 40 years. Commemorative Rambo shirts. Got your dog tags right there. And you can mail a Rambo from Hope, BC. And I just saw this. This is cool. You can actually take home a piece of the former Rambo bridge. Doesn't exist anymore, but you can still own a piece of it. Here's a map of some of the locations that we're going to visit this afternoon. You can see a lot of places right downtown in the center of Hope.
First of all, everybody, welcome to Hope, British Columbia, Canada. This is awesome. This is probably one of the most epic anniversary First Blood gatherings we've ever had, and we are so happy that you are all in the town where it all began. Woo! I was born and raised in Hope. I've lived here all my life. I was actually in town when they shot the movie. We were lucky enough as school kids every once in a while to be brought downtown on a field trip. And I don't know how many times I watched stuntman Jacob Rupp get pulled off that motorcycle on the corner of 3rd and Wallace. But when I watch that scene over and over and over again, it just gives me goosebumps to know that there's a whole handful of us school kids behind a little yellow nylon rope, literally probably 12 feet from when they shot that shot. Our first scene is going to be at the tracks, of course, where the motorcycle stunt takes place, jumping over the tracks. Legendary spot. As you can see, not a lot has changed at this location. The arms are a little bit different, okay? The view point, Zagger Mountain, there's Mount Ogilvy in the background. Geographically, same view through the lens in October of 2022 as it was in October, November of 1981. So there was a conversation that took place down here. We need you to hit the ramp at 70 miles per hour. So they did the first take. Legendary stunt guy, Danny Dobbins, was behind the wheel of the Sherriff car. The car takes off, hit the ramp too high, too hard, too fast, landed almost right where the van is turning right now. The car went too fast and it hit the pavement too hard. The chassis of the stunt car came out from underneath the vehicle and rolled right up to Old Hope Princeton Way, and the frame of the Sherriff car hit the ground. Medical personnel running to the car. Door opened up, and Danny Dobbins had, at that point, had fractured 2 or 3 vertebrae, broken lower back. They did a second take. The actual shot that you see in the film is take 2, okay, but still spectacular, still cool. We're going to go up Old Princeton Way, and we're going to go to the set of where they built the gas station, and I've got the greatest story. Right behind me across the street, this was the location for the gas station set. So this was actually one of the coolest scenes, obviously, of the entire filming in town. The entire town was out on this whole section of grass right here. There's probably about 3,000 people right here in anticipation of one of the most unpredictable stunts that they had to do on the entire shoot. I'll never forget it. It was about 10 o'clock at night, and Ted Kochev was on a megaphone just like this, and he goes, "Does anyone know what to expect here tonight?" And everyone's like, "No," and he goes, "That's good because neither do we." That's the way they shot movies in the early 80s. Today, they'll show an actor light a match, and then they're like, "Yeah, okay, we're good. We'll show that in post." They'll use a green screen, blue screen, whatever, but not when they film movies in the 80s. The actual gas station set was not a very big set at all. It was 40 feet long and about 20 or so, maybe 25, 30 feet deep. Hollowed out set, so basically three-dimensional, a front and walls, that was it. They actually went over to the local car dealership here, walked into their retail outlet, into their gift shop, and we said, "We need every single thing that you've got on the counter." Spent about $4,000 or $5,000 and literally cleared them out so that they could fill the set. The pyrotechnics team basically filled the set with anything that would explode. Gasoline, jet fuel, dynamite, whatever they had, whatever would light, they actually filled the set, okay? Looking back now and hearing the stories from some of the people that actually worked behind the camera, they literally did not know what to expect with this shot. Okay, why? They had one chance and one chance only to get it right. If you don't get it right, there's no movie. So, it's all set, all the pre-shoot's been done, the actors, everybody's cleared out of the set, and Ted's like, "Roll cameras! Roll cameras!" And everyone just runs, like, gets out of the way. Pyrotechnic guys come in, light the wick, the propane, you'll see it on the, when you watch the movie, the gas pumps, of course, are, they've got like candlelight wicks put in the base of the gas pump. They take off, and they're shooting out of the way. Another pyrotechnic team comes in, lights another wick. Gas station goes up, and there's kind of a boom. And then you can tell that everyone's standing back, kind of going, "Uh-oh." Then there's a boom. Everyone's like, "Ugh." Then all of a sudden there is a boom! And it was like, the crowd goes crazy over here, everyone's cheering, and there's like remnants of fuel, like lit pieces of set falling on top of everybody. It was crazy. And the crowd was going crazy. And even the pyrotechnics team, everyone's jumping up and down, everybody's excited. It was so cool. It was like this carnival-like atmosphere right here. In a conversation with Elf Humphreys, who plays Deputy Lester in the movie, there's a shot, and remember this when you watch the movie. That one scene that you see of Elf Humphreys kind of doing this, well, that was the car exploded behind him, and you had no idea. So it was a perfect natural reaction from Elf, and it was just brilliant. It was caught on film. Just so everybody knows, a little bit further up Flood Hope Road here, okay, is where the archway, the gateway to Holiday Land sign used to be, okay? Then it was moved down here on the lawn. Basically, the province of BC wanted their property back, so we did have to lift the gateway to Holiday Land log off this piece of property. In the process of doing it, because it had been sitting here for so long, it basically crumbled into a few pieces. We do have it in a pile right over here. When they're done their pipeline work, they're going to bring it back out. We'll have it back on display. Head over here, Water Avenue, to the driveway where the first ever conversation happened between Sherriff Teasle and John Rambo. Okay? Yeah, England, Tokyo, Germany. Right where Dwayne is parked, right there pretty well is where Will Teasle was parked. The first conversation takes place, okay, between, of course, John Rambo when he's walking into town. It's right here. At this location, of course, is it's probably one of the most talked about scenes I would say, in movie making history, but it happened right here on the driveway. The streetscape is a little bit different. These trees weren't in the shot. These trees didn't exist. But the streetscape looking down Wallace Street changed a little bit. There's a few less gas stations, but the Dairy Queen roof is still there. Chevron sign is still there. Okay, here we go. And that is the famous Chevron gas station. Big, huge, cool part of course, the motorcycle sheriff's car scene. The iconic Dairy Queen roof that you see in the background there, it used to be red. Okay, so now it's like a beige or whatever, white or whatever. But that's still the same roof line, still the same everything. But the only difference is that they've actually turned the pumps around. I love it. It's like almost a block long. This is fabulous. Perfect. So, of course, this is the legendary 8th Tree, cool part of the whole bike chase scene. Our stunt guy on the motorbike comes wheeling around on the inside here. For the film, this concrete barrier wasn't here. Okay, obviously the 8th Tree wasn't quite as filled in. The legend behind the tree is a little bit unknown. There was twin sisters that were born in Hope in about the mid 1900s, and legend has it that the twins tied two small seedlings together to form basically unity and togetherness, and the tree just happened to grow together, and it formed the letter H, and so our town kind of rallied around that. And no one really knows the name of the twin girl. It's interesting. We've been trying to kind of dig into the research and the history of it. But of course, this is the legendary 8th Tree. So, big part of the film. And you'll notice what's really cool is when you watch the movie again, for over and over and over, watch how close the stunt car comes to the corner of this house. This house is the exact same house in the movie, okay? But when I'm not too sure if the stunt driver actually meant to be that close to the corner of the house, but he actually missed the corner of the house by about 2 or 3 feet. It looks cool. If it was one take, that was phenomenal, and I'm pretty sure Ted was probably happy with it. You'll also notice too, probably one of the most legendary cinematographers, Andrew Laszlo, of course, who worked on the film, where they actually filmed the movie using an optic lens. And basically that's making images or whatever they needed to shoot larger than they were on film than what they actually were. So even I can remember with the Outpost gun shop, when they use that set, it's a one-dimensional set, and actually behind the Outpost gun shop, all it was really was a bunch of 2x4s holding the fascia up. They built a little closet that he used for all the retail section where he's pulling everything off the shelf and all that kind of stuff. But the size of that, literally the size of that room was probably, I think my wife Tara, I think her walk-in closet was probably bigger than that set. And I had an opportunity to look through the windows or whatever, and we watched Sly going through the motions of pulling everything, all the stuff off the shelf. It was really cool to see. That was actually that was the first time I ever met Sylvester Stallone. We did a quick little meet and greet. He pulled a shell out of his bullet holder, gave it to me, and it was a very quick conversation. It was kind of like, there you go. It was like, perfect, thank you very much. And then I basically got pulled away. Yeah, the bottom line is Andrew Laszlo is just a legendary cinematographer, and just the fact, the way he shot this film, and I think this is really what resonates with all of us fans, is that the mood of the film, the fact that it was all done with natural lighting, even in the mine scene when they filmed that part, the interior was done on a makeshift homemade soundstage in an old BC Transit repair shop, and so they built the soundstage in there. And Andrew worked with, basically he went down into this set. He said to Sly, he goes, well, I don't know. He said, what do you got? You got a match or something? And, Sly So I just whipped out a match or whatever, a lighter or whatever, and he goes, perfect, let's shoot it. And so what you see is just like zero studio lighting, zero movie magic, just that kind of that glow of the flame, and just the way he filmed this movie is awesome. Gives me goosebumps. Okay, so anyway, this is the H3, cool little sequence that went through here. Couple of things here. First of all, Hope Theatre, Hope Cinema right over here, built in 1945. Still one of the oldest theaters left standing in the province of BC, with the original large screen, and got the old type style aisles with the old New York kind of film seating. It's very cool. The ambiance is cool. We're so fortunate to still have it in our community. Played a pivotal role in the production of the movie while they shot it here in town. So it's important to know that filming in Hope was actually only supposed to take place for 4 weeks. 3 sets that were being built with the conditions that as soon as filming had wrapped up, all 3 sets would be demolished and carried away. There was an agreement with the production company to build a little bit of a legacy project with the community when shooting had wrapped up, and they basically, First Blood Production came to the community to ask, what does the town want? What does the town need? So what they did was actually took pieces of the set from the Sherriff station and actually moved it over onto Douglas and constructed a new clubhouse for the old folk, for the Mount Hope seniors. And now I know fans go over there every once in a while hoping to see this image of pretty well a replica of the sheriff's office. It doesn't look anything like it did in the movie. The only thing that I believe is what's left standing in that building on Douglas Street are a set of glass doors that were actually used on the set. Back to the Hope Theatre. That was very pivotal during filming and production. All the dailies were all viewed over there in that very building. As a matter of fact, Sylvester Stallone he had just finished Rocky 3 before he had come up to start filming First Blood. He was sent the final edition of Rocky 3. In that very theater at 3 o'clock in the morning, he asked everybody, production staff, crew, everybody to vacate the theater. He wanted to watch Rocky 3 for the first time, the final cut. And this is no word of a lie. He left the building, came over here. There was a pair of phone booths, old BC Tel phone booths. Dagmar, where were they back then? Like kind of right where you're standing, weren't they? Like kind of thing. Yeah, almost right there. There's a pair of BC Tel phone booths. If you can imagine, Sylvester Stallone walked into one of these phone booths, probably plunked about $5 in quarters or whatever into it, called down to Hollywood and said, Rocky 3 is ready to go to a worldwide audience. Crazy. If this spot right here doesn't give anybody any goosebumps, then you ain't paying attention to the movie, folks. So of course, this is right here, the actual location of the sheriff's office, the whole sheriff station set, okay? All the upstairs was a working set. The actual basement part was shot at the BC Penitentiary down in the Coquitlam area, now demolished and now it's just full of condos. But the upstairs, all the arrest scene, the booking, like all that kind of stuff, that all took place upstairs, one level right here in the set of the sheriff's office. All of these lamp posts, look at the Midtown Plaza shopping sign. Everything is identical today as it was in the movie. All these posts, this intersection has not changed a bit. Where we're standing right here where the lawn is, that was the staircase, okay? Pretty well right where that SUV is being charged. That's where John Rambo jumps over the hood of the Ford of the sheriff's vehicle. It was interesting because him and Ted got into a little bit of not an argument, but they kind of had differences over what John Rambo should do when he came running down the steps. and then was going to proceed to pull the stunt guy off the bike. Ted wanted him to run around the car, not jump over the hood. So I was like, no, I think we need to jump over the hood. So Ted, of course, again being like an actor's director, he goes, you know what, Fly, let's shoot it. Let's see how you do. And so again, us as school kids, watching Sylvester Stallone at the top of the steps, through the glass door, up against the wall, doing a bunch of push-ups on the wall, basically getting all pumped and jacked and everything for the shot. Jacob Rupp, legendary stunt guy, comes through the intersection with the motorbike. Fly practices, they do a little dodging or whatever, and they practice pulling him off the bike numerous times. But like I said, when I watched this scene over and over and over again, and to a true Rambo fan, this is where the goosebumps kick in. That legendary soundtrack hit, and this movie is off and running. It is awesome. This is probably one of the most legendary filming locations, again, probably in Hollywood history. In conjunction to where the sheriff's office set was built, just over here along Commission is where the Outpost gun shop was. So that crosswalk right over there. Everybody that's familiar with the film knows about the whole Kirk Douglas, Richard Crenna, and of course everybody knows the tension between the script, the fact that Ted and Kirk wanted the way the movie wanted to end. Of course they had to say, okay, well hang on, Colonel Truman has to end the character. Sly's thinking, no, I don't want the character to end. It wasn't too long later, actually about 3 or 4 days into the production, they couldn't agree on the ending. So that was it. I mean, Kirk just said, okay, you know what, I'm done. I'm off the set. Richard Crenna, who turns out to play just a brilliant part, he gets a call, his agent calls him, they go, they need you up in Hope, British Columbia, Canada. Richard's like, where? Up he comes, flies into YVR, they get him out here. The outfit that he's wearing was actually fitted for Kirk Douglas, so already he's uncomfortable. For the first part of the film, Richard actually has a script coach off to his left and is actually reciting the line into Richard's ear, and then that's how he just basically broke into character. But again, Ted Kotcheff, being the brilliant director that he was, just said, you know what, Richard, just wing it, have some fun with it. And I mean, I think we all agree that Richard Crenna just nailed it. The building that used to be here used to be the Godfather restaurant years ago, and actually the Godfather restaurant when they filmed the movie. That lamppost right there with the hanger, okay, that is the lamppost right there that he rides by when he's like, get out of the way, get out of the way, and all the stunt people and everything are diving out of the way. That green lamppost right there is the shot. The only thing missing is, unfortunately, the brick wall right here. But definitely, if you're a fan of the movie, you want to come back here and get a picture here. And right here, where the lamppost is, the parking sign is, there was a taller lamppost back here. The pyrotechnics team that put phony transformers at the top. Okay, and this is the famous spot where he looks up, shoots out the transformers, and there it is, the award-winning Field marquee is in the background. I told the folks at Field, I said, don't ever move that marquee, whatever you do. I said, because that marquee is probably one of the most legendary storefronts, I would say, in probably movie-making history. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce His Worship, the Mayor of Hope, Peter Rupp.
So, thank you very much, first of all, for coming to our community. We really do appreciate the support over the years from many visitors. This is not your first time. I see a few familiar faces in the crowd. A little older, but that you're still here, so we appreciate that. So please go out and enjoy the rest of your weekend, and thank you very much again for coming to our community and sharing our love for Rambo's First Blood.
So we'll do the count of 3. So 1, 2, 3. There it is,
Rambo Lane.
One of the most famous scenes, and again, I love it. It was on this particular corner when John Rambo walks up. You'll notice the cigarette billboard on the wall here during the shot. But it was when he walked up to this very corner, looks across the street. This corner is right here, and he looks over at Mountain State Savings. So if you look across the street right there, that was actually that was the old Bank of Montreal building, and that was Mountain State Savings in the building. So what we are going to do is, it's going to be our goal that we are actually going to take all 10 locations. This is sort of a project that we're going to be doing after the anniversary weekend is over. So we are actually going to go to all the different locations and have that kind of a signage, that kind of a setup, so that when fans go do their tour, their self-guided tour, they're going to be able to stand in the exact same spot, the exact same footsteps as John Rambo stood, such as right here. So there it is. Welcome to Rambo Lane. Thanks, everybody.
So it was a really fun walking tour. There's a great crowd today, very enthusiastic, and there's people there from all over the world. It covered a lot of the same locations that I did in my filming locations video that I filmed a number of years ago, but it was still great to hear some backstory and the experiences of the people that were here in Hope when the film was taking place. Now we're going to head over to the Mountain View Brewery for the kickoff and a screening of Rambo First Blood.